I remember the first time my wife and I assist to PCC. It was an Easter day about 3 years ago, and we attended to for the egg hunt stuff that you guys doing for the children. And after the egg hunt, you guys are actually ask people to stay to hear the sermon. And I feel bad that, as Spanish people, like, we just go to to have eggs and then leave. And I was kind of like, no, we should stay, if they're gonna talk about God, how bad can it be, So we decided to stay, and we hear Tony Yuhas preaching, and it was something good that the way he preaches that day it hit me, and it really, like, I was feeling like I need to know more about Jesus,
So basically, I didn't know anyone in New Jersey. I just graduated from college, and I had a contact in St. Louis who told me about this guy he knew in New Jersey. So lo and behold, the church is literally walking distance from me, and I started attending through this weird exchange of people, and it was really great.
So I was born and raised Jewish. Largely lived my life agnostic, I guess you would say. I was dating a girl who was a member of PCC, and she was friends with a woman named Jen Zila. I don't know how many people know her, but she used to come to this church. So Jen was good friends with my girlfriend and advised her to break up with me because of the whole unequally yoked thing, which I was not aware of at the time. So when she broke up with me, because Jen told her to, I was very upset by this. And when I get upset, I like to read. So I went to Barnes & Noble in East Brunswick. And outside of this Barnes & Noble was a homeless man. And I said, "What do you need?"
He called you over.
He called me over. He said, "Hey man, come here." And I said, "What do you need? I got some money."
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't need any of your money. All I need you to do is have a conversation with God tonight."
And this was in East Brunswick.
This is East Brunswick, where there's not one homeless man in the whole town. So I said, I can give you $5, but I'm not having a conversation with God tonight. He said, "All right, I don't need your money though." I walked in and I picked out just a random book. And it wasn't even an astronomy book. It was actually an astrology book, which was misplaced in the astronomy section. And I don't like astrology. I don't believe in it, so I was going to put it back. But I opened it instead, and I was flipping through it, and a little card fell out, which I didn't know what it was at the time, but it's a track card. And all it said on it was, "If you want to talk to God, start here." And it said, start in the book of John. I decided to ignore it. Except, I bought a Bible that night, without the intention of reading it. But between the homeless man and the track card, I bought a Bible. I went home, I thought about it, and I started reading John. And this was a Saturday night. I remember this because the next day, Sunday, I went to PCC. I read the book of John all night long. I stayed up all night reading John, and I think even more Matthew and stuff. Went to PCC, and the first person to greet me was Jen Zila, the very woman who told her to break up with me. I didn't know that was the case at the time. And I sat down, listened to Tim Nussbaumer's service, and I walked out. Jen says, "Good to see you again." And I said, "Again, I never met you." She said, "I'll meet you again, don't worry." I walked out, no intention of going back. And I went back eventually after about 6 months later. And I've been coming here ever since.
It was right after my wife gave birth to my little daughter Genesis. when the brothers and sisters from Point Community decide to help us with some meals, and it was something amazing and kind of weird at the same time, because I never received anything from no one, and it all changed our lives, impact our hearts, because I was been like kind of like a selfish person, like never give anything for free or and to have that sensation that people is helping you without waiting for anything on back. It's amazing, and you just like want to do the same for other people, like the needs of the people, and you need to be care for more people as Christian. I never have that feeling, and I'm kind of know now that what to be a Christian means. Like, don't just care about yourself, care for others, help others.
About 3 years ago, right? About 3 years ago now, we were approached by Rebecca Wynn because she had a couple of boys who were coming over to her house every day on the weekends, hanging out from her neighborhood, and she was really struggling to manage everybody along with her 3 boys. So she asked us and along a couple of other couples if we'd be willing to mentor them, and we said yes. We didn't have any kids, and we were relatively young and reckless, and started taking them to parks and stuff like that, and formed a relationship with them. And through that process, we found out that their great-grandmother really needed a long-term plan for them. So we started to entertain the idea of what it would look like to have them be a part of our family. And it's been a long process legally as well as emotionally to welcome these 2 young boys into our home and to make a family. But through the support of so many here at PCC, and especially through the WEN's initial support to get the conversation started, we do have guardianship or custody we have custody of them, and we are working on adoption. And we've really, through the whole process, have grown our family, not just with 2 boys, but also with extended family through their great-grandmother, their grandfather, their aunt, and it's been a blessing in more ways than just the 2 boys. So.
There's so many stories that I can say that are memorable, but I think there's one instance that really was great for my family, actually, because there was a huge storm a few years back, and the pine tree that was right behind my house actually fell and destroyed 3 neighbors' properties, and not really in my garage, but it really barely missed me, so that was amazing. But my parents were freaking out about this tree because they didn't know what to do with it, and they were really worried about how to get rid of it. So actually, one of the pastors, when I was asking him what to do, offered his services and said he'll bring a chainsaw and start cutting it himself, and he'll get help. So when I told my parents that, they were really impressed with our church, and to the point where they're like, we would love to attend if we knew how to speak English.
I've also been leading a small group since 2018, and we've had, the CV would have stopped us, and meeting over Zoom was simply a stopgap. But it was very hard at first, I should say, to learn to speak over, this sort of new medium. But we did, with some trial and error, learn how to do it. And finally, we could focus and make our conversation helpful and encouraging. And we even did a Bible study on missions and a discipleship survey and started to talk about really hard issues. And so at this point, we find that we've actually grown together a lot more than I could ever imagine through this new Zoom format. Last, I'd like to thank Mark McGrath for, his excellent teaching over these past years, for being a men's conference speaker, and then also his investment in myself, where we would meet various places just to talk about what it means to be a better husband, better father, as well as to do better in leading the CG. So I'm thankful for him.
What I love about our church is this program called Impact that happens every summer. And I used to help out with that pretty regularly. And it was really great because it really was an opportunity for me to ask coworkers if they wanted to involve their kids. It was a way for me to ask my neighbors if they wanted to get involved somehow, just as a community effort, not only with people who attend church, but also non-believers. But majority of my neighbors don't have children in that age range, so I didn't really think too much about it. But the first day of Impact, I go there, I see these cute little kids, and then when it ends, I see them coming along towards my house, and it turns out they're my neighbor's grandkids. So that actually gave me an opportunity to be able to get to know my neighbors a little bit more, and so that was a really fun week, and I guess it made an impression because even after they aged out of Impact, they still wanted to come back and help